Sometimes you find yourself in medical school or in residency strapped. I'm saying this to you, but I'm also saying this to me. When the property taxes are due at the end of the year, child, and a lot of these accounts will give you much more money back. $10 for a single dessert is not that bad. But then they have like 2-3 different kind of flavors. Woo. That is not a winning mindset. By the time I hit retirement, that's a significant amount of money that I've saved up. I should be allowed to buy it. And then I would be wondering why I was broke all the time. Like, what's wrong with you? They used to do 80% off clearance. Yeah, they knew my face. Hey boo, this is Endorpha Amour. Today I'm going to be talking about finances. We're not really taught financial wellness and financial literacy within the medical school system, most school systems, to be frank. Sometimes you find yourself in medical school or in residency strapped. The sooner you start saving towards your retirement, towards the life that you want to live later, the better. What I'm going to do in this video is really just talk about the top things that I either did as a medical student or wish that I had done as a medical student, so that once I got to residency, I would have been in a much better position. Okay, I'm doing all right, but I could have been doing better. Let's just be frank. Hi, baby. I love you too, but I'm recording a video right now. So unless you about to get on here and start dancing, you have to leave me alone. Go sit down somewhere. You're so cute. Go sit down. Number one, curb expenses. I used to shop so much as a medical student, like it didn't even make any sense. And then I would be wondering why I was broke all the time. Like, what's wrong with you? Curbing expenses would have been the top thing. When I say I was at DSW like every week, okay, buying new shoes, and you know, back in the day, they used to do 80% off clearance. Yeah, they knew my face in there. Like I would be leaving with literally, I'm not even gonna tell you how many pairs of shoes it is. I mean, I definitively had an issue. I think I was using that largely to cope. Like things were so stressful and I just needed something quick that I knew was gonna make me happy, that I was gonna love. And I convinced myself that because it was on clearance, that, you know, it was a worthwhile investment and that I should be allowed to buy it. But the reality is, whether it's on sale or not, that's still money that I'm shelling out for things that I don't need. So whether it's shoes like it was for me, or if it's eating out, or if it's taking unnecessary trips, whatever it is that I would spend my money on that was unnecessary, like absolutely that would have been the top thing that I should have done to make sure that I was in a better place financially now. The second thing would have been getting a high yield savings account. Back then, I was saving all my money in my savings account with my regular bank, which at least I would save something, but at the end of the day, I wasn't really getting much on my return, like a fraction of a percent that I'd be getting back for the money I was saving. These high yield savings accounts will give you much more money back. And you know, the amount varies based on the market. At the very minimum, having a high yield savings account allows you to receive much more interest back based on the amount that you're saving. When I opened my first high yield savings account, I want to say it was like somewhere around 3-4% ish. It could have been more than that, but yeah, I've had at one point, one of my high yield savings accounts was giving me 4.5% back in interest. These accounts can be really, really helpful. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It's a better idea to save in an account that's going to give you more back in interest than not. So this is something that I wish I would have started sooner and probably would have had way more savings now. The third thing would have been to open a Roth IRA. IRA is individual retirement account, and put money in it regularly. I first learned of IRAs because one of my old night jobs that I used to have, they set one up through my job. So money would come out of my check and go straight into that account. But then I eventually learned that there are different types. And so I went transitioned to a Roth IRA. This money, obviously I'm not touching it until I retire. The thing with this is, I think sometimes we assume that if we don't have a certain amount of money or a sizable amount of money to save, that, what's the point in saving it? But I used to think that way, but honestly, that is not a winning mindset. It doesn't matter how little I'm able to save something if you can. So there were times when I was only putting $10 a month into my account. Sometimes I wouldn't put anything if I didn't have any extra income, but if I did, it could have been $10, it could have been $15, $25, and I would still put it in my account, because at the end of the day, when I retire in, say, 20, 30 years, for example, I'm going to have made way more money on that $25 or that $10 than I would if I didn't put anything at all and had zero. So even if I were to put $10 a month in that account for a year, that's $120. So by the time I hit my retirement, even if I just stuck to that, by the time I hit retirement, that's a significant amount of money that I've saved up, as opposed to not saving any of that money at all. Make and stick to a budget. I'm saying this to you, but I'm saying this to me. So there was a point in time where I was really strict about my budget. I had me a little Excel spreadsheet. I had how much I was making from which jobs, because back in the day when I was in medical school, I had a couple of different jobs. But how much I was making, how much I was spending, what my bills were, where do I need to cut? Like, I had everything mapped out, and I was so stringent about that budget. Um, I'll be honest, like, these days I don't have my budget written out the way I used to, and I need to get back on that. I really do. I know I need to get back on that. But I've been going through a phase where I just wanted to spend, like, I didn't want to have to worry about money. I just wanted to, if I needed to buy something or do something, I just wanted to do it without having to worry about my budget. The bank account kindly let me know that I got to return to the regularly scheduled program, because, child, there's nothing like visualizing your money. Of course, I have the ability to see something and say, no, you should not buy this. You cannot afford this. But there are times when little things start creeping in. Like, if I see that, so I'll go to the farmer's market or whatever it is, and there'll be that one little tent right there that be selling the desserts that I like. I'll be like, you know what? $10 for a single dessert is not that bad. But then they have like 2, 3 different kind of flavors. And then by the time all is said and done, I have spent more money than I ever intended to spend. So having everything written out, having the amount of money that I should spend or that I should not go above written out, having that knowledge in my mind, and constantly using that to go off of, was so helpful for me when I actually kept that budget written out. So sometimes you're oblivious to how these little spending habits start to creep back in. And there's nothing like having a visual in front of you to really check you, so you know what you should and should not be doing, and what spending trends or money trends and habits you've either picked up or that have resurfaced. So those are the main things that I wanted to say. Just as a recap, number one, curb the spending, child. Curb the spending, okay? Number two, open a high yield savings account. Something is better than nothing. Retirement account. Keep a budget. The other thing I would say also emergency fund, emergency fund, emergency fund, child. Like, especially for those times when random things start coming up. Because let me tell you, just because you're in medical school or residency does not mean that life is going to slow down around you. Things happen. I had a car that I bought back in 2009. I've been driving that car ever since. She was getting to the point where she was needing a lot of maintenance, child. For a low maintenance little cheap little car, she sure was needing a lot of work. She became high maintenance real quick. It was really helpful to be able to have certain funds available when those things would randomly come up. Summertime hit and that AC, that cooling bill doubled or went up way higher than you anticipated. It could be, if you did decide to buy your home when the property taxes are due at the end of the year, child, and then it's helpful to have a little extra money somewhere outside of these things being helpful for me in the long run, which I know they will be. Even in the times when I've been strapped or I've had a financial emergency come up, having these things have really helped me so that I have something to draw upon when things got real quick. Thank you so much for watching. Of course, I'll see you in my next video. Appreciate you.